I learned how to do breakout rooms yesterday, so we can do group work. Yeah, that'd go over like a lead balloon in a punch bowl, especially we leaned on the pickle classes. Yeah. Y'all settle down, please. All right. I'm trying to see how many we got. I'm trying to see who's in this class. Let's see, there's 3.2. I don't think, yeah, section 10. I don't see, let's see, is Fry here? Yeah, Miss Fry here. Okay, this is 3.2. I'm just going to pick one, 3.2, number 5 in the book, and number 4 online. And hopefully this is one that I want to pull up. Well, good gracious, that's a big group right there. But I want to talk about 2 things before we get started with the homework questions. One, I looked through your homework grades, and there's about 4 or 5 of y'all that haven't even started on the chapter 1 homework. So I don't know what's up with that, but I'm not going to extend any dates. So I'll go ahead and tell y'all what y'all are going to do. The 4 or 5 that haven't even started on homework, you're going to call me or email me or text me, and it's going to be a life-threatening situation, all dramatic, and you're going to have 5 dead grandmothers, 6 flat tires, the house is going to fall in, lightning struck, you forgot, the dog ate your computer, and I'm going to not reply. Everybody got that? We are in our 4th week, 4th full week. I told y'all, Math 120 classes, to read chapters 1 and 2 along with the outline. I told y'all to do that the first day of class. So I don't know what the 4 or 5 is waiting on. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, we are coming up on the test. The homework will be due a couple of days after we review. So you don't have time to do 3 chapters of homework. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out right now. I will not extend. You can send me all the bad luck stories in the world, but I'm not going to reply because I'm not going to do anything. Does everybody understand that? I only got 3 people I can see. Thank y'all. All right. So with that being said, this is, I'm going to copy this over into Excel. I'm just going to do, I can't do the 5-number summary with this. So we're just going to do mean, median, mode. And a lot of students asked me in yesterday's class, why do I do everything with a question that's just asking for the variance and the standard deviation or whatever? Why do I do it? Well, because it helps to have the what? Practice. So first of all, the first thing you do is you put it in order. After you put it in order, you go over here. I know y'all can't see this very well, so I'll make it bigger. Everybody can see the spreadsheet, right? Y'all just, okay. I guess those nods mean yes, because hell no, y'all ain't going to talk to me. Mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. Now, I'm not going to do the 5-number summary because why? Well, there's only like 5 numbers. You can't do a 5-number summary. I saw that yawn, Miss Gravina. You're not supposed to do that. I'm going to, you have more than 3, I'm going to throw you out of the class like that teacher did that got fired. Dumbass. All right, so mean. I'm going to add all those up and divide by 5. Now, I know why the student is sending this question, and it's not because, wow, the mean is 1. Wow. Let me check that, make sure. I'm going to check it one more time just to make sure. Is that 5 numbers? Yeah. Divided by 5. Okay, there we go. All right, median is going to be that guy right there. We'll color him yellow. N is 5, N is odd, so I'm kind of jumping through this right quick because it's only 5 numbers. So, and I probably, the person that sent this probably knows how to do it. They just don't understand why they got it wrong. I don't care about the mode. I don't see one. So I'm going to put does not exist. Never put 0 for the mode because you always get some smart alecky teacher. 0 is not even in the data set and they'll mark it wrong. Range is the highest minus the lowest. Range is equal to the highest plus the lowest divided by 2. Variance, I'm not going to title anything. I'm just going to do it. Minus that function F4, copy down, square it, copy down, get the summation, and equals this guy divided by 4, and equals this guy raised to the what? 0.5 power. Not divided by 0.5. Now, why did they get this wrong? Or why did they send it? They sent it because the question is trying to test you. This is 2-in-1 question. Chapter 2 and chapter, let me hold on a second. Let me get this, do this, delete. There. This question is a chapter 1 question and a chapter 3 question. Can somebody tell me why it's a chapter 1 question? Why is it chapter 1 and chapter 3? Well, I just showed you chapter 3. But why is it chapter 1? Anybody? And they will do this on standardized test also. Anybody? I need somebody to say I have no earthly idea so that way I can move on. It does require interaction. Y'all will interact one way or the other.
Not sure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. What does it say right here? Let me move it up so y'all can see. What does that say right there?
It says sample.
So which one is sample, the Greek letter or the regular letter?
Regular.
The statistic. So that's why you got to pick the S. Now, S squared, what is that? If you take the standard deviation and you raise it to the second power, what do you have?
Sample variance.
The variance. And it says it right there. Sample variance. All right, so that's another word. That S squared is another word for variance. It says round to 1 decimal place. So our decimal place is 24.3. And let's see if we feel good about ourselves. Yes, we do. Next, it says, what is that? Well, again, we're going to pick the S because it's the sample. So that's going to be the square root of S squared is S, which is the standard deviation. And that's going to be 4, let's see, round to 1, 5. Now, the reason people get this question wrong is for 2 reasons. Can you tell me why? It's not the math. 1, they don't remember statistic versus parameter. This is for the population because it's a Greek letter. What else do they miss? Well, they don't understand that S squared is what? The variance. And I told y'all that when we first started standard deviation. I asked y'all, what is the relationship? And I showed y'all. I said the square root of the variance is equal to the standard deviation, and the standard deviation squared is equal to the variance. Now, if I didn't show you that, I'm showing it to you now. Okay, but I remember saying that. All right, so that is where you get that answer right there. That's the variance. Now, I want everybody to get their calculators out. Everybody get your calculators out, turn it on. I'll give you like 15 seconds because some of y'all have to go find it. It's in the book bag, all that. So I'm going to give everybody 15 seconds. I wish I could see y'all, but of course, only 3 of y'all, send me videos, so I can't, conduct class really efficiently. But that's okay. We understand you're winged on a pickle and you're still in bed and some of y'all are eating breakfast and you don't want to let everybody see you eat. But I do appreciate the ones that do help out with the class. Thank you. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to hit second 0. Second 0. And you should come up with the catalog. Everybody see the catalog? Again, I can only see 3 people, so when they nod, I know that they can see it. Miss Poor, can you see it? I didn't see you nod. Okay, there you go. All right, now I'm going to go down to diagnostic. Arrow down till you get to diagnostic. I want you to put it on diagnostic on, hit enter, and hit enter. That enables your screen to show everything it can show. Does everybody understand that? Kind of maximizes your screen. All right, now let's type in these 5 numbers. I'm going to show you how to type them in, how to put them in order for those of you that's never done this before. So the first thing you hit is stat. You might want to write this down, as you go if you've never done it. Stat, enter at edit. Edit is already on edit, so just hit enter. Now, some of you may have borrowed a calculator or may have something in the calculator. So at L1, arrow up to L1 and hit clear and enter. So let me go over that again because some of y'all are writing. Well, one of the 3 are writing, so I can't tell what the other people are doing. So stat, enter at edit. It's already on edit, so just hit enter. And go up to L1 and hit clear and enter if it's got something in it. Now type in your numbers. Everybody type in 17, down arrow, 15, down arrow. You can hit enter also, but I just hit down arrow. 5, enter, 8, enter, and 12, enter. Now again, they're not in order. So how do you put them in order? You go to stat, you go to sort in ascending order, and second 1, close parentheses, and now look at it. Stat, edit, and it put it in order. Now to calculate, you hit stat, calculate, first variable statistic, and it defaults to L1, so all you got to do is arrow down to calculate and hit enter. Now, what does all this mean? Well, X bar is the mean. SX equals 4.9295 ... 4.9295 ... And you scroll down and there's your 5-number summary. 5-number summary, min, first, second, third, max, and the min is 5, then 6.5, then 12, 16, and 17. What is the second quartile? That's your median, so it gives you your median also. Now, what does it not give you? Does it give you the mode, the range, or the mid-range? Well, what about the variance? Well, I showed you how to get the variance. You take SX and you square it. So SX squared is equal to the variance. You're welcome. I thought I'd show you all that before we, embarked on Z-scores. Let's do one more. One more homework question. Let's see. Here is, let's see, is that from this class? Let me take this one out, please. No. Here's another one. 3.2, 35/11. Oh, and that last question was a homework it was a test question and a standardized test question. That last question we did, it was a very good test question. This is number 11 on your homework. Any homework question that has 5 or 6, okay, this is a Z-score, it looks like. I'll check, I don't know. Oh, this is empirical rule. Let me make this lower. I told you y'all would have an empirical rule on there. So let's do this one. All right, go ahead and write it down. I'll let y'all read it and write it down. You're going to be using this right here. We're going to be using this for those 2 or 3 people that actually copied them, because I know 90% of y'all didn't do it. But anyway, that's what we're going to be using. So go ahead and write it down. And this is a test question and a standardized test question. Oh, this is Chesnoff's. I hate Chesnoff's or whatever his name is. I'm going to do the empirical rule, and then I'll show you how to do Chesnoff's. I have to look to see. Nobody ever uses Chesnoff's or whatever his name is. Nobody ever uses it. So I'm going to show you the empirical rule. So anyway, go ahead and write it down. I'm going to show you the empirical rule, and then I'll show you I'll pull it up and show you how to do whatever his name is. Chebyshev. I don't even know how to say it. Some of you Russian descended people maybe can say it. Oh, that would require interaction. That's okay. Forget it. Does y'all's other teachers try to get y'all to interact, or they just love that you don't interact?
I like to imagine they think they love when I don't interact with them.
Oh, they love it.
That's what I like to imagine, at least.
I think it's different when you're actually in person in the class.
And they still don't want you to interact.
Well, no, I mean, that's not necessarily true. But I think it's a lot easier to say something back when you're in person.
Well, I don't see that, because to me, I've been teaching these virtual classes for so long that it's just like, second nature. I mean, I just like to interact. I just think y'all hate me. I really do think that's what it is.
We don't hate you.
No, that's what it is. Especially the weaned on pickles, Now I know Mr. Butcher is not weaned on a pickle, because I've had him in class before. So I know he's not weaned on a pickle.
We're playing against you.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the Russians. Y'all are all agents of the Russians. That's what it is. That's okay. That's all right. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do both of them. Here we go. First of all, I'm going to pull my handy dandy dojigger in right here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm sorry, but I have to. And bring in my whiteboard and go ahead and bring in my handy dandy. Now this is the empirical rule. And the empirical rule says I've got a mean of what? At one point, the average price is $3.64 and a standard deviation of 0.09. So I need y'all to take your calculators out. No, I better not, because y'all ain't going to do it. I'll have to give me the wrong answer, and then I'll do it. So let's go with on, and let's go with 3.64. This is why I don't do decimals on the empirical rule, because it takes too long. 0.09. Okay, that's okay. It's 9 cents. That's not bad. So 3.64 and 9 cents is going to be 3.73. And 9 cents is going to be 3.92, I guess. And 9 cents is going to be $4 and what? 1 cent. Let me add 9. Add plus 0.09. 382. Yep. Or 382. I'm sorry. 382 plus 9. 391. Okay, and now I'm going to subtract 3.64. 3.64 minus 0.09 is 3.55 minus 0.09, 3.46 minus 0.09, 3.37. So if they ask you to do empirical rule and they give you a question like this, which they will, I'm not going to give you what's his name. I'm not going to do that. All right. And I take my handy dandy highlighter, 2 standard deviations is going to be normal. And then yellow is going to be unusual. And then what's outside the yellow area? What's that called? Interact time, interact time. Please interact with the class. Outliers, thank you. Now, you should be able to answer any questions. What does it say? What percentage of gasoline station had price within 4 standard deviations? Okay, well, 4, we've only carried 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be way low. That's going to be, let's see. That would be 4.0. And down here would be what? 3.37 would be 28. So 3.28. You're talking about 99.9%. Now that would be empirical rule. And then it says, what percentage of gasoline stations had prices within 2.5 standard deviations? So 2.5 would be 1, 2, right there, and right there, and you add the percentages up. So that would be right here and right here. So half of 2 is 1. Half of 0.35 is 17. So that's 1.17%. And that's 1.17%. So you would add the green area, and then you would add, that's supposed to be a 7. 1.17 and 1.17, that's 2.35. So 2.35 plus 95, 95 plus 2.35, that's equal to 97.35% if you were doing it with the empirical rule. And then it says, excuse me, and then it says, and what are the gasoline prices within 2.5 standard deviations? Well, you would have to go here. What's halfway between 382 and 391. Half of 9 is 4. So that's going to be 386. So that's going to be 3.865. And down here, let's see, half of 4.5. This is going to be 4.5. So that's going to be 337 plus 4, 341.5 or 3.415. So your gas prices would be $3.42 to $3.87. Have y'all noticed gas prices coming up? Have y'all noticed that? I'm not going to say anything.
Yes, I have.
I'm not going to say a word. They're going to get up more too. And then groceries are going to go up. And then everything else is going to go up. I ain't going to say a word. All right. While DC gets their wallets padded by Middle Eastern and Ukraine oil companies. All right. So there's your, that's what you do if you're using the empirical rule. What is the minimum percentage of gasoline stations that had prices between $3.46 and $3.82? Somebody tell me.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
What's the percentage? What is in the green? In the empirical rule, 95%. Hubert, that's right, class. I don't think y'all listen to anything I tell y'all. I think y'all hate me, is what it is. Add up those 4 right there with the empirical rule. Now, that's how you do it with the empirical rule. That's what you'll be tested on. I'm going to test you on the empirical rule. All right? Chesney-Upf, I can't even tell you there's a formula, and we're going to look it up. And you're going to follow it. There it is right there. Write it down. There it is. To answer this question, which says regardless of the shape of the, at least blank of the observations will lie within K standard deviation. So you punch in the K that they ask you for. So write that down. Chesney-Upf's whatever is 1. I'm going to get rid of this. Equals 1 minus 1 over K squared, and then multiply that by 100%. And K is equal to standard deviations asked. Okay, so what do you do with the first one? You plug in 4. So C, and we're going to do A right here. C is equal to 1 minus 1 over 4 squared multiplied by 100. Now, since y'all going to give me, well, since half of y'all won't answer me, and since y'all going to give me the wrong numbers anyway, I'll do it. Y'all set me up intentionally. Y'all know that? Y'all give me the wrong answers intentionally because y'all hate me, because you won't talk to me. All right, so that's 1/16. 1 divided by 16. Well, 1 divided by 16 is that. 1 minus that number, second answer, is that, and multiply that by 100. All you got to do is move the decimal, but 93.75%. And that's how you do Chesney-Upf or whatever. Let's go see how to pronounce that. I've never learned how to pronounce it, so we're going to learn it right now. If it says it right. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. Pronounce. We get to listen to it. What? That don't sound good. I think I'll just say Chesnoff. Chebyshev. 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 Did y'all know that? Chebyshev. Chebyshev. So write that down. Chebyshev. Chebyshev. I bet you $1 that's wrong. Because half the time when I go to this to pronounce people's last names, I say their last name and they say it's not pronounced that way. So I don't know if that's right or not. It's a conspiracy. All right, so I'm going to answer this one. 93 point, it says round to 2 decimal places. So 93.75. All right, 2.5. Let's go back to our handy dandy B. C is equal to 1 minus 1 over 2.5 squared multiplied by 100. Pull up the handy dandy calculator. And that's going to be 1 divided by 2.5 squared, close parentheses, I hate these calculators sometimes. It's a conspiracy. And 1 minus second answer. And then that's 84%. A lot of people say it's easier, but nobody ever uses it. I can tell you that right now because I never heard of it. Out of all the statistic courses I took at Clemson, I never heard of it until after I started teaching Math 120. So you take it for what it's worth. 84. And that's how you do that. Now it says, what are the gasoline prices within 2.5 standard deviations? Okay, well, you just do that by doing the scale that I just showed you. You do that, you know, by doing this right here. Hold on. This right here. I'm not gonna do that because we already done it. All right, that's true with the empirical rule or Chebyshev. If I said that right. And the last one, what does it say? It says, what is the minimum percentage of gasoline stations that had a price between 3.46 and 3.8182? And that one, you just do what I said. It should be, okay, I said by this one, now I was doing it in my head, 3.415, and it says, it doesn't say round, so I don't know if it wants you to round or not. 3.865. And that's just by doing the empirical rule. I didn't do Chebyshev. I didn't do anything with Chebyshev or whatever. And then this one, we said 95% because the empirical rule covers that. Okay, let's see what they got. 75. I guess we have to, let's see, what is the minimum percentage? Oh, minimum percentage of gasoline stations. You got to figure that 3.46. You got to get a standard deviation for that. So you would actually have to plug that in. That would be 346. Hold on. I wasn't expecting that. That would be 346 minus, what was the mean? 364 divided by 0.09. And then the upper level would be 382. 382 minus 364 divided by 0.09. That's your standard deviations. So let's take our handy dandy calculator, and 3.46 minus 3.64 and divided by 0.09. And that gives me a -2 standard deviations. And the upper one, 382. I'm sorry, my eye was itching. 3.82 minus 3.64. What does it mean when your eye's itching? It means you're going to get a lot of money, or is that when your hand's itching? Divided by 0.09. Some of y'all have no idea, but it's your parents' fault. 2. So 2 standard deviations to the right. It's symmetrical. So all you have to do is type in, just figure 1, 2, and then multiply it by 2. So let's do that with our handy dandy. So that's going to be C, and that's equal to 1 minus 1 over 2 squared. Yeah. And that's going to be 1 minus 1/4, or let's see, 1/4 will be 0.25. 1 minus 0.25 is 0.75, and that's 75. So there is Chebyshev's. That's Chebyshev's way of doing it. I will not test you on that. I will test you on the empirical rule. Does that help? I hope that helps. I think Miss Fry, does that help?
Yes, sir.
You're welcome to interact, with the other 3 if you want to,
Okay.
I think Dorsey finally. Let's see, who was not here? Yeah, Dorsey came in. What about Glenn? Glenn came in. Okay, I'll have to change. Let me go ahead and change that right now. Set attendance for this course. Okay, Dorsey came in, and Glenn came in. And what about Owens? Did she ever come in? I don't see Owens. So Owens didn't come in. So, okay. All right. So now let's look at another homework problem. I want to, let's see, when's class over? 9:25. All right. I got plenty of time. So let me get out of that. That's 75. We did that. Let's see what else. Let's delete that one. Let's see, this one is the same one. So she said, you must have accidentally sent that one twice. Sometimes.
Yes, sir, I did. I didn't mean to.
That's okay. We're not going to hold you in contempt. Let's see. Well, I done lost it. But anyway, I'm looking for it again. 3.2. 3.2 were the most important questions anyway. There it is. 3.235, delete. Here's number 23, but is that this class? Nope. There's Miss Fry. I appreciate you sending these questions. that's 37/13. Let's see if it's this looks like a test question. Yeah, this is a test question. Now, I'm not going to look at what they're doing because I'm going to show you what I will test you on. So go ahead and write these down. Go ahead and write them down because I really could care less what they're asking. So go ahead and write those down. I want you to find everything that I've shown you. Mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, standard deviation, and the 5-number summary. We're going to do everything that I will test you on with this. Now, I'm not going to give you a question like this, and it's going to ask you to do everything. We do everything to give you the practice for the test questions that just ask for one thing. They may ask for 2 things, but they're not going to ask for everything. Hopefully, y'all understand that. And you can use your calculator if you want to. and use that shortcut that I showed you. Go to the first variable, statistic. You still have to do the mean, the mode, range, mid-range, and you have to calculate the median. No, the median's there, but you have to calculate the variance. I'm going to do everything in the Excel spreadsheet. That way, everything will be on the screen. And then I'll show you a trick I learned in the war. I was in the Marine Corps with a guy that said that all the time. If you want to know where I got that from, he used to say that all the time. That was a trick I learned in the war. I know we're terrorists. I'm an NRA member and a veteran, so I'm an evil terrorist.
The Air Force is better.
Air Force. You actually consider the Air Force a branch of the armed forces?
Hey, I was in that.
Were you?
I was.
How long
yeah.
were you in, Miss
I was
Glenn?
I signed for 6, but I ended up going for 4. I got medically discharged.
Oh. Do y'all really have maids in y'all's barracks?
We don't even call them barracks.
Yeah, y'all call them apartments, I think. And you're gonna tell me that? But I did appreciate those warthogs. I did appreciate those warthogs and those warthog pirates. I meant pilots over in Saudi and Kuwait. Those are some awesome machines.
Yeah, they definitely are.
I mean, basically they're a fuel can and a seat wrapped around. I mean, with cannons wrapped around it. Those are something. How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So X is equal to 10. Miss Glenn, there is such thing as free education, isn't there? You just fight for your country and you get a free education. Or you at least get help, right?
And you get paid to go to school.
Yeah, you get paid to go to school. So I don't understand what this plus is about free education. Just serve your country and you get a free education.
I definitely just quit my job.
I just don't understand that. I think there should be an amendment to the Constitution that every able-bodied high school graduate should serve 1 year overseas in the military, Red Cross, missionary field, or Peace Corps.
I think it should be mandatory 2 years.
I think it should be too, because if they did, they would kiss the ground of the USA because all the other countries are screwed up. Yeah. But that's all I'm gonna say. I'm a terrorist.
In Israel,
you're a terrorist too. What'd you say, Mr. King?
In Israel, men are required to serve 4 years, and women are required to serve 2 years in the military after they graduate.
And they love their country too, because once you serve overseas and see how screwed up all the rest of the countries are, you're glad you live in the USA. I know I am. And you're a terrorist, Miss Glenn. I just thought I'd tell you that. All right. And didn't Wonder Woman, didn't she serve in the Israeli army? What's her name? Plays Wonder Woman. Okay, nobody's gonna.
You mean the actor?
Yeah, the actress. I thought.
Oh, Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I thought I read somewhere, and I may be totally wrong. All right. Here we go. I'd have to look that up. I read it somewhere, but you can't believe everything you read. Median, might have came from CNN. Mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. Now, I'm not going to do everything as explanatory as I do because I've already done that with y'all. So I'm just going to go through and do it. So you can see that you actually can do it in a small amount of time and not, 50, the median. Somebody check me, make sure I counted right. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the two, so that's going to equal 50. Mode, I don't really care about the mode, but it looks like 50 is the mode, is it? The range is equal to the highest minus the lowest. Mid-range is equal to the highest plus the lowest divided by 2. The variance equal to this number minus this number. Shift F4, copy down. Equals this number raised to the second power. Copy down. Summation. And equals that number divided by 9. And this number raised to the second power, I meant to the 0.5 power. Now, I don't know how long it took me to do that, but I think it took around less than a minute or a minute or less than a minute and a half, maybe. 5-number summary is equal to 10 and equal to 90 and equal to, equal to 50. Okay, how many numbers are above my little cross here? How many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oop, there he is. And 1, 2, 3, boop. Now, did that take long? No, it didn't take long. But there's some people that take a month for them to be able to find those 3 numbers. I mean, I go over it. Do you know I had somebody yesterday email me out of one of my other classes and asked me, I think it was in the calculus class, and asked me how to get on to my lab's math? That is no lie. And then I had another one the day before that over the weekend. You know what they asked me? How did I find the videos on YouTube? Did I reply to either one? No. All right, question. Now, I'm going to go over here right quick, and just for giggles, I'm going to show y'all once again how to do the empirical rule and the 5-number summary box plot. So first, or mean, I got to write everything down first. First is 40, second is 50, third is 55, max is 90, and mid-range is 50. My mean is 50, and my standard deviation is 21. Mean is 50, standard deviation is 21. All right, now I'm going to there's my empirical rule, and 50 goes in the middle. That'd be 71, be 92, and what will that be, 113? Somebody check my math on the right side. 50 minus 21 is what, 29? 29 minus 21 is 8, and 8 minus 21 is negative 13. I need somebody to check me on those numbers, please. Make sure I did it correctly in my head. Now, Miss Glenn, I'm going to be leaning on you a little bit because you're a fellow terrorist. So if you don't mind, you know. Are you a member of the NRA, Miss Glenn?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well then, no, you're awful. You're a bad terrorist. All right, so there's that. I'm just going to outline in yellow. I'm not going to color. So I'm sorry. There's the unusual.
Your math is correct.
Thank you. And orange, yellow, there we go. There's the outliers. Okay, there's the empirical rule. So now you can answer a question. The question on the test would say, the mean is 50 and the standard deviation is 21. What is a score on the test of 72? Is it normal? Is it unusual? And you would say, no, it is not unusual. It is normal to have a score of 72. What about a score of 5? You would say it's unusual. What about a score of 115? That is very unusual. Outlier is considered very unusual. So that's how you do. Those are 3 test questions I just gave you that you could have on the empirical rule. Box plot. Have I shown y'all how to do the box plot? Yes or no? I thought I had.
Yes.
Okay, min is 10. Mid-range is 50. And max is 90. Now just graduate. Graduate 10 to 50, 40, half of 40, that's going to be 30. And 20, that's 70. Half of 20 is 10. And that's graduated. Now, how do I know when I'm graduated? Because if it gets too cramped to write a number between them, that's when I stop. And that to me is, that's enough. Okay, where is my magenta is my first quartile. So 40 would be right in here. Blue is going to be my second quartile, which is right in there. And red is going to be my third quartile, which is 55, which is right in here. And you can see that the box is pretty much in the center. So it is pretty much, the curve looks probably a little bit like this because you got a bigger area right here than you do over here. So, but the centers line up. So it's not, it's a normal curve. It's just a little bit heavier on the left side because of the proportion here. And that's what I'm going to ask you on. Now, I'm going to show you something right quick that this question is asking. I think Ms. Fry sent this question. What happens when I multiply each one of these by 5%, or I add 5 to each one of these? Watch what happens. So that's going to be 15, and that's going to be 40, and that's going to be 45, 55, 55, 55, 60, 60, 70, and 95. Okay, what happened? Well, the only thing that really happened was the mean increased by what?
Increased by 5.
So if you increase the numbers by 5, what's the only thing that really changes? The mean increases by 5. So that's what they're trying to get you to see. If you increase each one of these by 5, then the mean is going to, because look, the standard deviation is still 21, and the mid-range increased by 5. The range, I think it stays the same. I don't really care about the mode. The median, what was the median? The median stayed the same, but the mean and the
median increased by 5 as well.
Did it?
Yeah.
I have the median is 50.
If everything increased by 5, then that means the median did too.
No, I don't think so. Let's undo everything.
If the two middle numbers increase by 5, then it increases by 5 as well.
Why didn't it do that?
I don't know.
Oh, I know. I didn't calculate the median. That's why. Let me calculate it. Thank you, Mr. King. Equals, parentheses, this guy plus this guy divided by 2. Thank you. In the previous, I just punched in 50 because it was 2 numbers, and it increased by 5. So that's what they're trying to get you to see, Ms. Fry. If you increase, what if I increased each one of these by 10%? Then the mean, the median, and the mid-range would increase by 10%. That's what they're trying to get you to see. I'm not going to test you on that. I just want to make sure you can do this. Let's do this one thing right quick. And that way I can finish with 3 point before I get to z-scores. Let's type it in. Stat. Edit. Go to L1. Hit clear. Enter. Type in 15. I'm just going to do this one. 40. 45. 55. Takes longer with a mouse. I suck at typing in with a mouse. 55, 60, and 60. Y'all welcome to try it. 70 and 95. And I'm going to hit stat, calculate, and first variable statistic, and go down to calculate and hit enter. And X bar is 55. We got that right.
You have a work email.
And so on. Go down to 5-number summary.
Priority 1 message
15,
coming in
45,
on your channel.
55, 60, and 95. So you should be able to do these by now. Question, gripe, complaint. Now, what's z-scores? Well, I'm going to show you z-scores right now. Does anybody have any idea why we use z-scores? Let me erase this one. Anybody? Because z-scores compare apples to oranges. Write that down. Z-scores compare apples to oranges. And the best, let's go with statistics. Let's see. LBJ, the president, that's where LBJ comes from. LBJ versus Shaq, Z-score, PDF. And this should be it right here. This is the question I use to show students how to do z-scores. Copy. And, well, just go ahead and just copy this question down, please. You don't have to copy it word for word. You just have to copy it as far as context of the question. So copy that question down. Everybody should be writing it down. If you're not, you suck. And we got 15 minutes, so we got plenty of time. Now, the formula for z-score is z-score. I'll move this down a little bit because I know you're still copying. Hold on. There we go. Z-score is equal to x minus x bar over standard deviation. Or if you're dealing with a population, x minus mu over standard deviation. Now, the key word in this question is relatively. Now, any redneck with two teeth in their head can tell you that Shaq is taller than LBJ. Shaq is taller than a lot of people. Okay? But what does relatively mean? Can anybody give me a definition in layman's terms what relatively means? Relatively means in your own world, basically. For instance, if I measure the height of all the females in the room, and I measure all the heights of all the males in the room, then the tallest female is tallest among the females, but who's taller in respect to the females versus the males? In other words, who's tallest? Now, if the tallest male is 6 foot and the tallest female is 5'8", then naturally everybody's going to say, well, the guys are taller. But that's not what the question's asking. The question is saying who is taller relative to their own population. Is the guy taller? He's 6 foot, but everybody, all the other guys are 5'11 and a half or 5'11. And all the girls are below 5'6". So the woman is actually taller at 5'8" versus the guy because all the other guys are tall. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, how do you do it? Well, you got to compare the two and get a z-score for LBJ and a z-score for Shaq. Now, for LBJ, X is equal to 75. I'm looking at the president. The president's mean is 71.5.
You have a work email.
And the standard deviation for the president's is 2.1. I'm going to show all this one after I get through writing it down. X for Shaq, the basketball player, is 85 inches. X bar for the basketball players is 80 inches. And the standard deviation for the basketball players is 3.3. Now, what I want everybody to do is plug and what? Plug and chug. Do a z-score for LBJ and do a z-score for Shaq. Go ahead and punch that out. Okay, so 75 minus 71.5 divided by 2.1. Somebody crank that out and give me a decimal rounded to the hundredths, maybe.
$1.67.
1.67. All right, now let's do Shaq's. Z is equal to 85 minus 80 over 3.3. And somebody give me that. Round to the hundredth, please.
1.52.
Now we draw our handy dandy curve. And with a z-score, you just put 0 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. And you plot those two z-scores. Shaq is 1.52. And LBJ is 1.67. The outlier and unusual is right here. The outlier and unusual is right here. Sorry. Who is further out? Shaq or LBJ? Who is further toward the outlier?
OBJ.
So he is relatively taller. So LBJ is relatively taller than Shaq. Now, why is that? Well, what's the qualifications for being president of the United States? You have to be 35 years old, a natural-born citizen, and a good record. Okay? Is there an advantage to being tall for president of the United States? No. You know how tall James Madison was? He was 5'4" or 5'5". FDR was in a wheelchair for his second or third term or fourth term. He was in a wheelchair. So there is no advantage to being tall versus, is there advantage for being tall in basketball? Yes. So Shaq, here's Shaq. He's 8 foot tall or however tall he is. But what are the other basketball players? They're just as tall, if not a little bit shorter. What do you think the smallest basketball player playing right now is? 6 foot? Now, Spud Webb was 5'7". That was in Michael Jordan's time. They played together at North Carolina. But Shaq is a little fish in a what? He's a little fish in a big pond. LBJ is a little fish in a what? I'm sorry, big fish in a little pond. He's a big fish in a little pond. Because you don't have to be tall to be president of the United States. That's what relatively means. Relatively means who's taller with respect to their own population. And he's taller because and do you know that he's still, I think him or Trump is second to Abraham Lincoln. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And I didn't know that Madison was 5'4" or 5'5". Oh, well, I guess y'all knew that because nobody said anything. So, All right, that's how you use Z-scores. All right, we'll go over some more Z-scores probably Thursday. Looks like we might be going over a test Thursday too. So anyway, any questions? All right, I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. Y'all have a good day. And
I do
will
have a
see
question.
y'all Thursday, okay?
I do have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Where will the test be? Is it going to be on My Labs Math or what?
Yeah, everything's on my labs.
Okay.
I'm not gonna complicate things. Everything, you're doing everything on my labs.
So what section, like where can we find that?
You'll find, I'll go over that when we go over the test.
Okay. Perfect.
All right? That way
All
I'll
right.
cover all your questions at one time. All right, I'm gone. See y'all. Gotta get ready for the next class.
Thank you.